Hey, what's going on guys? Scott with Zephr here and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I am showing off a team that I bet at least a couple of you have heard about. It's the new Balance team that people are going to be using and is going to be doing absolute bits in Regulation D. It's a very strong team and I just haven't used it up till now because I've been experimenting with every Pokemon that's been added, whether that's the Hisuian variants, whether that's the Legends. I've just been doing a lot of playtesting on Showdown, and today I finally thought I'd put the team together and show you what it's capable of, so let's get straight into it. So if you guys aren't familiar with what a Balance team is a team consisting mainly of the Fire, Water, Grass core, the three essentially best types in the whole of Pokemon. Fairy should be in there, but it's not. But anyway, so at the start of the game, we had the Fire, Grass, Water core of Arcanine, Palafin, and Amoongus mainly. Meowscarada at the very, very beginning of the game was that grass part, but it kind of fell off because it's very frail. Flutter Mane absolutely tanks it, and it just doesn't give a lot to the current format. So Amoongus really, really came in. It fits on every team. It puts things to sleep, it applies pressure. It's an incredible mod. I've got nothing else to say about it. But I want to start today with the first Pokemon on this team, and that's Heatran. So I never used Heatran in Sword and Shield. I only started playing Pokemon VGC properly about a year ago, towards the end of the game. So mainly when I joined, the format was Kyogre, Groudon, and basically Rin Your Sun and anything that kind of fit around that, Charizard, all those sorts of things. And it was mainly weather contestation. So I never played with Heatran, but from what I've been seeing in the past, it is absolutely amazing, and I can tell you straight up that it is absolutely amazing in Regulation D. So Heatran's ability is Flash Fire. So what Flash Fire does, if you're unfamiliar, is if it gets hit by a fire move, then it gains damage on its fire moves. So you could swap Heatran into seeing another Heatran go after your Amoongus with Heat Wave and gain damage, and it also applies to why we have the Tera of Grass. So in another meta, we had another Pokemon, I can't remember it straight off the top of my head. Armorogue, that's what it was. Armorogue was Grass Terra the entirety of the first couple months of the game because it has Flash Fire as well. So, you know, at that point, the only thing it's weak to is Flying types. And Flying typing is kind of becoming unprevalent at this point. I went Ice types, but it's the same with them. They're not so seen currently. You know, with all of these new Pokemon running around, you might see some of the Weather Legends running it, like Tornadus, Thunderous, like Icy Wind, Air Slash, Bleak Windstorm, but besides that, there's not a lot of things that are really going to catch Heatran off guard. And then you've got Flash Cannon, which pretty much simultaneously destroys Flutter Mane, one of the most oppressive Pokemon in the entire format. You've got Earth Power, which allows you to deal with other Heatrans and Steel types and Fire types and so on. And you've got Heat Wave as Heatran's main form of stab, does tons of damage, hits both slots. The only downfall is that its accuracy isn't 100%, but that's fair enough. And then we've got Protect, so that obviously we can cover Heatran and make sure it's not getting destroyed when it doesn't need to be. So the next Pokemon on this list is a Pokemon I actually thought was going to fall off pretty hard and has actually continued to stay relevant and is really, really surprising. So Rillaboom was super good in Sword and Shield. If you know, you know. It had Grassy Glide. On grassy terrain, it always went first, like Extreme Speed, and you could OHKO a Kyogre like it was nothing. And Kyogre was one of the most oppressive Pokemon in that format, so Rillaboom did its job and it did it well. They took Grassy Glide away from Rillaboom in this game, which is kind of deserved, I think, because it was just super powerful and super broken, and if you were a Kyogre user, you just hated to see it. But it's managed to stay relevant still, which is incredible. So it's got the Fire typing because, you know, if anything comes out to damage it water-wise or ground-wise, it's not going to want to sit in front of Rillaboom anyway. If you've got speed priority, you're probably going to destroy that Pokemon, and it basically gives it a really defensive Terra. The Assault Vest to round Rillaboom's defense and special defense off, it gives it incredible bulk, it's got good HP, good defense, good special defense with that item, and it can take hits, especially from things like Flutter Mane, etc. Fake Out, because we don't have Fake Out on the team besides Rillaboom, and Fake Out is super, super good. Knock Off, because it's a dark move, we don't have many dark moves here, and it allows us to take items away from opponent's Pokemon. U-Turn to pivot Rillaboom in and out, so for instance, if you're against Armorogue Indeedee or just Indeedee and it has Psychic terrain down, you can pivot Rillaboom out to get it back in and reset the terrain, so you have priority and you can't not use Fake Out, for example. And Woods Hammer, because it's 100 base damage. Yes, it damages you by 33%, but it takes out Urshifu, it takes out Flutter Mane, it takes out a crazy amount of mons, and is super strong, especially even on grassy terrain. So Rillaboom, as said already, has stayed relevant, and it's an incredible Pokemon in this game, even though it had its signature move taken away, and it's really nice to see. Up next is no introductions at all, it's Flutter Mane. Flutter Mane is still super strong, it's going to be on every single team still, I can predict. it is the best fairy type in the entire goddamn game, and it's not going anywhere. I run my Flutter Mane a bit bulkier, as I say in all my videos. If you want my spread, it will be down below in the description, so you can use that special attack bulky Flutter. Besides that, I don't really have much to say. Flutter Mane is Flutter Mane, it's as simple as that. So let's move on to Urshifu. Urshifu Dark and Urshifu Water are both incredible Pokemon in this format. Once again, I didn't use them in Sword and Shield. I believe they fell off by the time I was playing, but you had max protect and all that sort of stuff in there. You don't have that in this game. So for you guys unfamiliar with Urshifu, Unseen Fist, its ability is one of the most broken abilities ever created. It allows the Pokemon to hit through Protect, which is just ridiculous. We've only ever had things like Faint and such that do like 20-30 damage to like kill a 1 HP Pokemon behind Protect. But now we have this monster that can just attack you as and when it pleases. It has signature moves that do stupid amounts of damage. I can see Dark Urshifu picking up later on in the game. Right now, Water Urshifu is the main, is on like 70-80% of teams on Showdown for good enough reason. As I said at the start of the video, this Fire, Grass, Water core is what a lot of people aim to have in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet competitive because it's so good, and Water Urshifu fits in there perfect. It's got the Mystic Water, so it does even more damage with its moves. It's only a 1-2, but you'd rather it have that and not have any side effects like Life Orb, for instance, which gives Heatran even more damage but takes away its health. And then you've got Surging Strikes, which hits 3 times. Every single hit is critical, can do so much damage and knock out like 80% of Pokemon. You've got Aqua Jet, so you can priority as and when you need to. If there's a 1 HP Pokemon and you need to take it out before something else uses priority move, then you've got it there. Close Combat, because it's another form of stab for Urshifu and it does a ridiculous amount of damage, and Detect there for, say, when Flutter Mane is on the other side of the field and such and you don't have priority ETC. And then we've given Urshifu the Grass Terror because it means it can't be spored by Amoongus. If something comes out and it's Rillaboom, for instance, because a lot of people are running Rillaboom to counter Urshifu, you can Grass Terror so it's not going to do as much damage, and just overall it's a really good Terror type for the Pokemon. Right, so we're moving on to the final 2 Pokemon now. I'm just going to run Amoongus first because it's already there. This is, once again, just a better defining Pokemon. It's so good. It's been good since the beginning of the game. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to continue to be good. There's just a couple changes I want to talk about. So we've got the Rocky Helmet on the Amoongus. So as I just said, Urshifu is a problem. You can Rage Powder with this Amoongus and cause your opponent's Urshifu to have to attack it. Rocky Helmet's going to do 16-17% damage every single hit. So if your opponent Surging Strikes, you're going to take 50% of their Urshifu's HP instantly, which is just ridiculous. And Amoongus is pretty much going to sit there and be pretty happy about it. Like, it's not going to take loads of damage if it's not terrored and such. And yeah, it's just going to kind of laugh. And it's a really good way to play against your opponents Urshifu, as I can see a lot of mirrors happening in this game with this balance team and the next tournaments coming up that feature Regulation D and such, because this team is just so good. Pollen Puff, substandard, allows you to heal your Pokemon, gives Amoongus the ability to chip away at opponents' Pokemon. Spore, once again, standard, 100% accurate move, puts things to sleep, incredible move. And Protect, because Protect is super good in Amoongus, even with Urshifu running around. And then I've actually switched my Terra on the Amoongus. I've made my Amoongus the Dark Terra that we saw a lot at the beginning of the game's release, because with Tornadus running around now, and we'll get into that in a second, if you Terra your Amoongus into the Dark type, it can't be taunted, because Dark Pokemon don't get affected by Prankster moves, and that's just a really, really good bit of knowledge to have. So you can Terra your Amoongus on turn 1 if you're, say, facing a Tornadus. If it taunts you, then it won't work, and then you can Spore it safely, and I think it's really, really good. And so finally, let's move on to the guy himself, Tornadus. This guy does not need any description to veteran VGC players. However, to the new guys, Tornadus is one of the best Prankster Pokemon in the entire format since it got released in Gen 5 through to now. Prankster is an ability that a couple Pokemon get, Grimmsnarl, Whimsicott, to note a couple, that mean that if you're using a status move, such as, you know, say Stun Spore or Spore, for instance, that you always go first as long as there's nothing faster in front of you. So you can taunt opposing Amoonguses, Tornaduses, to stop them from using Tailwind, Spore, Rage Powder, all that sort of stuff. You've got Tailwind. Once again, Tornadus is pretty bulky. It can set Tailwind instantly as long as it's the fastest thing on the field, unless you're against another Tornadus and then they can match you. But once again, it makes it a great Tailwind setter. Air Slash is my choice. A lot of people are running Bleak Wind Storm and Rain Dance. That's fair enough. You can do that. I completely understand why you do that. I just don't want to have to use 2 move slots, so we use an Air Slash because it gives Tornadus stab and good damage, and it also has a chance to flinch, so it's pretty good. I recommend it personally. And then we're using Icy Wind because it's another form of speed control. If your opponent gets Tailwind off and you do as well, then you can start lowering your opponent's speeds to make your Tailwind essentially overpower theirs and give you the speed control again. It's a really good move. It hits both slots. It deals with things like Dragonite, other grass types. Yeah, I think Icy Wind is really good. And once again, I've given Tornadus the Dark Terror for the exact same reason as Amoongus. If you're mirroring opponent's Tornadus, then you can just use Dark Terror and Prankster won't work on you, so you can't be taunted, for example. And then the item for Tornadus is the Covert Cloak. The reason we have the Covert Cloak is because you have things like Rillaboom, Iron Hands, all these sorts of things that run Fake Out. Covert Cloak prevents you from getting flinched from moves like that, and even say like Rock Slide on like Tyranitar or anything like that. So you can always guarantee that you're going to get off whatever move that you were going to use. So Tailwind, Taunt, whatever, it will always happen as long as your Pokemon stays up. So as far as breaking the team down goes, guys, that is it. I think this is one of the best, if not the best team in the format right now. It doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. Its weaknesses are basically the mirror, like facing the exact same team itself, and then it comes down to which one of you is really the better player and what modifications to EVs and stats and all that sort of things as far as it goes. There are some changes that I think could be made to the team, and I am testing them personally. I will post videos on them as and when I've done a thorough amount of testing. I think some of them are good, but overall I think this team is as balanced as it gets, and you will see a ton of it running around in Regulation D. And that's really about it. So if you enjoyed today's video, guys, please leave a like. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. That also really helps me out. We've smashed goals since I've been posting regularly. I was at like 460, 470 subs. We're almost at 550 now, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Honestly, it means the world to me that you enjoy my content. I love creating content, and as long as you guys like it, I'm going to keep doing it. If you use this team, or you've used this team already, or you have any thoughts or such, then leave a comment down in the comment section down below. And besides that, if you want anything like exact about the team, the Pokepaste and the code are there. The code's there so you can rent the team, and the Pokepaste will be in the description so you can know exactly how these Pokemon are EV trained, IV trained, blah blah blah. So for now, guys, I've been Scott with Zephyr. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Mousey. Cool, man. I don't think this is going anywhere ever, unfortunately. Right, we're fine here because we go Tera Fairy and we go Tera Fairy because we can get so much damage on both of these mons straight away. And then, I mean, realistically, I can go for the Surgeon Strikes. I don't want to close combat because if it goes Terras, then it goes Terras, you know? But we're going to just Surgeon Strikes into Annihilate there. This is a very aggressive first turn, and the thing is I have the ability to do that. He can follow me, but you can't follow me away a Dazzling Gleam. And if you do, you're going to get triple Surge Strike. So unless you got Rocky Helmet, it don't look good, chap. Yeah, expected. No Terror. Mouse Sword is not going to do anything for this ape. This ape's going to pass away right now. Oh my god, it didn't die. And we live because of the Fairy Terror. That's huge. Now the Mouse Hulk takes. Oh, it's Rocky Helmet. What are the chances of that? Oh my god. At least we only take 2 Rocky Helmet damages there. Like, but what are the chances? Heatran. Okay. So I assume the reason Heatran is here is to go Terra Grass. So actually, I'm still okay to just Surgeon Strike this Annihilate this turn. Terra Grass is fine. I just wanted to make sure I was making good reads. That's why we protect Flutter here, because then we can get a fatty Moonblast next turn. Yeah, Terra Grass. I like Terra Bug Heatran. The hat is better. Shiny showed me that. But Terra Grass means we can't go to sleep, so pop the Heat Wave. Protect doesn't matter, my friend. This is why Urshifu is busted. Because goodbye Annihilate. So broken. Heat Wave. Flash Cannon. That's a good read. It's a good way to cover as well. Lando T. Hello, sir. It's really funny. We can just click funny haha dazzling gleam button and go Surgeon Strikes as well, and it doesn't matter because Lando can't do anything. Lando just gets annihilated here, and this is how fast this team can just sweep. It's absolutely madness. As long as we outspeed here, Lando just goes down now. Like, because Intimidate does not matter on a crit hit, I believe. I'm sure a crit ignores Intimidate value. Yeah, look at that. That damage is done. Like, the game is over. It's that simple. Brit. Earth power. That's fair enough damage. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter, but I like that you're running Life Orb Heatran, because I run Life Orb Heatran, so I respect that. And now we just like Surgeon Strikes because it's funny lows, but it doesn't matter. Big Moonblast. Flutter Mane is still the best type / Pokemon in the game, alongside Urshifu. Ushi, dumb. Sayonara. Very quick game. Felt like a destroyer there. Oh my god. A lefty Heatran. Okay. I'm actually super okay with this, right? So we go Protect, we go Tera, and we Spore this boy. We want the Heatran asleep so we can deal damage to it in whichever way we please, right? We Tera Mushroom here so he doesn't get KO'd by a Heat Wave, because that would be absolutely awful to start the game. Get a nice little Protect down just in case we get Electro Webbed, because that's what a lot of Elekis are here for. Oh, would you look at that? Wow. As if I didn't know that. We are going to take some damage from that though. Not too much actually, we'll take that. Heat Wave. I kind of expected this first turn to go this way, right? So as long as Heatran isn't safety forward, we're okay. Life Orb, so we're fine. This is awesome. Because this next turn now we can switch into Heatran and get ready to smash a huge Earth Power. We don't want to swap Bulky out. We want to Dazzle Gleam here. No, actually, we want a Moonblast, I reckon. Yeah, we want a Moonblast. We want to swap out on this side into my own Heatran. The only other smooth move we could have made there was swap in Amoongus out into Heatran at the start, and then we would have had Flash Fire boost, but Flash Fire is not really valuable in this situation. We don't really want to be hitting Flash Fires. Protect Aleki. Okay, that's fine. So this turn now we hit Dazzling Gleam, because I reckon the Heatran terastallizes this turn into a grass type, even if it is asleep. We Dazzling Gleam this turn, and we hit Earth Power into this slot. Because Regieleki is literally just here spamming Electro Web, really. He's not really doing a lot else besides that, so it's not a huge concern of mine. No terastallization. What? That's actually huge. Oh, the sleep turns. The triple sleep turns. That sucks for you, bro. Was it triple or double? Oh, I think it was... That was turn 2. Right, that's going to KO Heatran. Goodbye, my boy. And that puts us in a really good position. I love Aleki's little legs. Alright, Urshifu is in the building. Not my most favourite Pokemon to see on the field, not gonna lie. We click Dazzle Gleam and... I think switching into Chestnut here is really good, because if he goes for Surgeon Strikes, he's going to triple Rock Helmet himself, and that's going to suck. And if not, then we get Regenerator up on Chestnut here, so... No Electro Web, okay. That's fine. You do go into my Flutter, that sucks, but we can't really do much about that one, I'm afraid. But what this does allow us to do is get a free swap into Rillaboom. So now, all we have to do is Rage Powder. And... you know what, this turn I'm going to go Rage Powder, knock off here. Actually, no, because we don't need to knock off. I'm going to go Rage Hammer. Yeah, Rage Hammer. Go. Protect is fine here. We're not after you. We're after the big boy on the side. Detect, okay. You just prevent the fake out, I see. So the only way you get around this next play is by taking out Amoongus this next turn, which I don't think happens. I think he lives anything your Regieleki throws at him, to be honest. Just do the exact same thing. There's no real need to change anything there. Okay. So what are we bringing in instead that's going to take a fat wood hammer here? Lando does not want to take a wood hammer. If you Electro Web here, it's smart, but it also doesn't matter that much. Oh, we are going after Amoongus. Okay. That's not enough. I didn't think it'd be enough. Lando takes a huge hit here. That Lando is bulky. What on earth do you mean? So I think, with Heatran being my final Mon out back, and there not being a present threat, you have to just go... I don't know if the Lando has Protect or not, though. That's the problem. But I'm willing to put it on the line for a read. I reckon the Lando protects. If AD, that sucks. If not, then yeah. The Lando protects. Regieleki doesn't protect and goes to Thunderbolt. Yes! Huge read. Actually massive. Violeki. And now the only way you win this is by taking out my Rillaboom. Like, you can take out my Heatran, like, no doubt. Lando isn't really threatening me with what I have on the field. So, I guess I can U-turn here, because I reckon you protect anyway. And... I need to keep Amoongus as healed as possible, so I'm just going to go for a Heat Wave here, to be honest. Oh, we're going straight after Rillaboom. Okay, I see it. That's a huge defense debuff. Rock Tomb. Just going for all the speed debuffs. Okay. That is huge damage still on a, you know, not very effective Life Orb. Let's go. U-turn, a little bit more chip damage. And now, there's just no way to win. Amoongus gets recovery for the end of this turn. We just keep pressing Rage Powder, and in the end, you have to attack and you get Rocky Helmeted. It's that simple. And there's just nothing you can do about it, really. But even if you click Surge and Strikes now, like, you'll KO yourself, and then Earth Power is going to do enough here and not miss. GG's, boy, let's go. Huge. Amoongus is so good. It just fits into any team. It just changes the pace of the game. It's such a
Hundreds of lives.